right, we're back again with another episode of Four Ropes Full Podcast. I'm your boy LC from 773, and we got our boys Jay the Kid along with Broke Boy Bray, and we got another special guest this week. And let's just pass it off to Bray with a nice introduction for this one here. See as far
I
as
mean,
how we going with it.
what can I really say? This is a very exciting day for everybody here involved. I mean, as everybody knows, we're huge fans of wrestling, huge fans of IPW, and they have a pay per view coming up on April 5th. And today,
Sir.
we actually have the special privilege of having one of the commentators with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing IPW, the voice, we got Adam the Deuce Darkett. How you doing
Hey,
today, man?
how's it going?
Man,
Awesome to be here.
Sir.
man, to have you on the show and everything, being basically one of the guys who was actually on the product, actually being able to have a real insight on how IPW is doing and how well it's going for the brand new owners of it, being able to represent the company that is basically bringing that fresh feel of wrestling back again. How would you say, basically, how would you feel the fans reacted to IPW being sold? Having new owners.
There was a lot of questions at first, I think, see if there was going to be any changes, how it was going to happen. But the reaction's been mostly positive. We're getting a lot of engagement on social media. It's kind of our way to get the news out at this point. Um, it's awesome. We're pretty excited about the event coming up on April 5th as well. But we're getting a lot of engagement, a little more views than we had in the past. We're being really consistent with trying to share information and trying to get useful information out there.
That's fire. That's fire. I just, I mentioned it the last time, but I'm so excited to see a few guys in IPW that we seen here when we were talking with them. Um, Demonic being able to be one of like the opening matches for IPW is just such a good feeling because we got a chance to interview him. He's such a good guy with such a great story and a good background behind his wrestling and everything. It's great to see that for him. So me personally, I'm excited and I can't wait because I'm definitely gonna be watching to see his match and how well IPW fans react to him and his character moving forward with the company. So I'm excited
Yeah,
for him.
I'm totally excited as well. He's got some deep, rich character work, right? The imagery with the mask and everything. Kind of love that stuff. We're getting a good range of different types of wrestlers coming in at the show. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, he's a good talent. He'll be a returning talent. He's competed in IPW before, so some of the fans are comfortable with his work already.
Hmm. Dope, dope. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to Bray.
I mean, thanks for hopping on, man. Really appreciate it. What can I say? I'm really excited to see who that special guest is you guys are hiding from us in the poster. Like, that's what I'm
Yeah.
interested in. But I'm also ready to see my boy Fantana cut up on the car because I know he's going to do some phenomenal work.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Fantana.
yeah, Montana's pretty awesome. We've got high clearance at the event as well. So instead of being in a gymnasium or something like some of the IPW events in the past, we're actually in like a brewing company, a brewery, pub slash restaurant venue that
Okay.
usually hosts
Nice.
all kinds of musical acts, a couple live stage shows. I've had some comedians in there, but it's heavily bands. It's the first time having wrestling. They've got the high ceiling though, so we can see what we can do with Fantana, right? Get him flying, make sure he can pull off all of his tricks.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, LC.
Especially as of lately, once again, definitely thank you for coming back on this. Like, it's always a joy to see that journey going from like just a few months ago to now, where it was just like a word in the air, like all right, it's a car getting together, to now where it's like everybody is together pushing forward on it. We all doing something to see it go well past where it should be. But my question is, with how current day WWE 2K games are played, and the community creations is a big thing. Me and some of the team, we kind of like put together several different things, so we kind of like got a few things in the works. So when we do slowly get those reveals, we can help, push forward with that on a 2K scale. Like everybody creating different belts, and the engagement from there, it kind of just goes forward.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I'm gonna drop the ball here hugely on the 2K stuff. I'm not wildly gaming myself, but Justin and the rest of the crew totally are. But yeah, that's one I'm not wildly involved in at this point.
It's all good. You got like 10,000 different things you're doing right now.
Yeah,
And
no worries there.
speaking of things that you're doing, we want to talk a little bit more about upcoming things for the company. We were in talks about possibly, I believe, we were doing a weekly TV show, you guys in the IPW community. Can you give us a little bit more insight about how that's going to run, exactly what, is it going to be recaps from the events? Is it going to be interviews with the wrestlers with the companies? Like, is it going to be highlights from the matches and everything? Can you give us an insight on what that looks like?
So it may be a little all of the above. So currently today, we have some historical content from previous events under the old regime. But we have no new content yet of our own yet until the show comes out, as in ring entertainment, that is. So the show right now that we're doing weekly is the Island Pro Wrestling State of the Union update. It's kind of like a news type format. I act as the host in it. So far, we've had Justin on as a guest to help promote what we're doing and what's coming. So it's going to be a little bit of recapping of things that have happened in the past, as well as teasing and leading up to whatever's coming next. We're going to try to find a nice balance of that. So far, it's been easy because we're 100% focused on what's coming up next at this point. So if you've caught any of them, the original one was mostly just talking. We evolved them with additional episodes where we're cutting in some material, clipping into some other things that have been taken from the internet, building a little bit of storyline around the event that's coming up.
Okay, that's fire. That's fire. Um, you know, I want to get into basically how you feel as independent wrestling on a scale of like 1 to 10, the relevancy that is getting into the wrestling world again, because there was a time where basically if you went in WWE or somewhere that was seen on television, you basically weren't important. But now with WWE doing the ID program, people being scattered from the indies way more often, how do you feel as Canadian wrestling being able to put their foot in a little bit more into that, to where we can see guys on IPW as well as WWE, or just even going on into America touring with professional wrestling? How do you feel that push is coming into 2025?
Yeah, I think it's really big right now. It's probably the best it's been in a long time. Like, there's a ton of opportunity there. So you mentioned WWE having the ID program, which helps because that kind of reaches out across beyond their little developmental camps, right? That they've run
Right.
themselves. But besides that, WWE has also, as they've grown and they're focusing on being an international company, they've drastically, over the years, every few years, less and less and less house shows. Like my area of the world here in Atlantic Canada, we used to be part of the regular house show tour. We would get shows in Moncton. You had one in Charlottetown or Halifax. I've attended Monday Night Raws and SmackDowns from Halifax. But they've grown so much now and they're focusing on big international events. They're not crossing North America like they used to. So there's lots of opportunity as well for just indie shows to get a bit of more of a following.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know. I think it's prime time. Like if you're a young wrestler right now, You've got besides being able to promote yourself online on your own, and the state of the industry, like it's a great time.
Okay. Right.
I mean, yeah, that's what's up. Like, it is insane just to kind of see how much the indies are kind of being prevalent. Because as you mentioned, like the ID program, like I see Seth Rollins, for example, posting all the time all these indie talents, and I'm like, that's what's up. They're promoting all these guys to allow them, the bigger opportunity to kind of grow. Like, do you think it's possible at all if IPW were to, hit that stage, would the collaboration with the ID program come along, and how do you think that can benefit the company?
Yeah, it's totally possible. It's part of why we're, trying to get the online presence as well. We are in a small population market here in Prince Edward Island, Canada, but we've got enough to support our events, but to allow us to reach out more and grow. This is where the online presence is happening. The YouTube channel is going to get stacked up with some more information as we have more and more content to share, and Twitch streams of the events, right? So that's to kind of get the word out. So others outside of our little Atlantic Canada bubble will be able to see the talent being showcased.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Dope. LC.
Yeah. Technical difficulties. I'm not sure what just happened with the signal over here.
Uh-oh.
It's actually snowing in Illinois at the moment. Well,
Oh, no.
Chicago. Yeah, it's
Oh, I know
it's very
Chicago getting it
different.
the worst
It's
though.
almost spring.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, right. So, um, going back to pretty much the whole aspect of what changes a division and how it's pretty much ran as is. How ROH has a pure division, and most companies are now going into that intergender role. What's something that can help separate that as far as champion wise going into IPW and the next few stages maybe?
We're going to kind of grow and see what we can get out of that. For now, we'll have tag teams. We don't have a tag team belt at this time, but if the tag teams could take off, maybe there could be built a division for that. We're currently running with our existing championships. Um,
Oh, good,
Everything's
yeah.
being reset, but we're still running with those belts. So we have two titles. There's a heavyweight championship division title. It's kind of the top tier belt. And then also the Prince Edward Island title, which would be kind of our equivalent to like an Intercontinental Championship US title. So we're going to run with
Yeah,
those. Both of
yeah.
those currently are men's, but I'm totally open to expanding to tag team women's divisions as well for titles. We just got to get to that point, make sure we have enough talent coming in and performing.
Definitely, definitely.
Okay.
So at this point now, we've got vacated titles, complete reset. We will
So
talk a
now,
little bit about what's going to happen with those titles and how they'll be decided at Takeover April 5th.
Yeah.
you know, I'm glad we got that understanding because we asked Justin and Chris that, and they couldn't release the news just yet. So basically, this feel like some like interesting news of now how the company's going to go, like who's going to be putting those pictures. So it makes me excited for the future of IPW because you
Yeah.
never know exactly. The realm of opportunity is just it's basically just a grab away if you really want it. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, 100%. So former champions have been notified. They can come back if they're willing and interested in competing for the belts. It's open for that. Former heavyweight champion has been great about it. He understands it's a whole new regime, whole new line in the sand. It's almost like a break of the old and the new. He's comfortable with that. But our Prince Edward Island champion is a little bit more reluctant. So hopefully we'll be able to come to terms with him soon enough.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely see some brewing with that already.
Definitely.
I got one if you don't already.
Oh yeah, now you got it.
Before the pod started, I mean, you had mentioned that you kind of found Justin through our podcast and kind of got more interested. Like, how has it been kind of working with him in that aspect, and kind of getting to know him, going from the old to the new, and kind of what they're planning for IPW going forward in the future after Takeover?
Yeah. No, that's been awesome. So yeah, huge thanks to you guys. So I had been a fan, attended some IPW shows in the past. Um, Saw that the company was potentially stopping based on social media posts, and then in January I heard that it was being purchased, and uh, then thought that was great. I'll probably go to the next show when I saw it. And then I caught your guys' podcast with Justin and Chris on it and watched the episode. I was out on my exercise bike in the garage. And I was like, wow, these guys are really cool. Everybody involved, you guys, the guys locally. And I just reached out to them from there. So that's how I got involved. They were still finding the last couple of people to be involved at that point, and I managed to get in. Um, Came in with auditions for doing ring announcing. I have a background in software engineering, so I can help them with social media, video editing, things like that. And
Okay.
as the conversation expanded, I'm super passionate about wrestling, so here I am helping out with all kinds of things. It's been really busy. It's awesome, and they've all been great to work with. It's like friends I've had forever now, and it's all new, right? I met everybody after being introduced to them from you guys.
Hey, that's great. That's great. Making
Yeah,
That's
connections through
dope.
wrestling.
yeah,
Hey,
it's
even
That's
if
pretty
it's
crazy.
just a small one, like that,
right.
that's pretty. That's dope to hear for us, honestly. But I want to get into what a little bit more what Chris was talking about. Um, I want to talk about tag team wrestling a little bit. Um, I want to talk about a few groups in the professional wrestling world outside there. We got a chance, if you didn't see, we interviewed Anthony Deuce Harlem, which was a pretty good interview. Like, I love pretty much bully wrestling. It's just like somebody being able to be like, I'm going to push you around and beat you up, and you can't do nothing about it. Him and his tag team partner out there holding the Ultimate Championship Wrestling titles. I want to talk about guys like Sabotage that we haven't interviewed yet, but we'd love to get them out there, being the decorated tag team that they are in the independent scene out there. A group that we also talked to, AWOL. It's just so much good tag team wrestling. How do you feel as, even though we only have those three belts for IPW, being able to add in a little bit more of that aspect of the wrestling, if given a following, which one of those guys do you feel like you would be more, not willing, but who do you feel like the crowd would be like more pushing for you guys to get to come to IPW?
Well, I'm probably going to have the default to AWOL, primarily because they've had appearances in the past on Prince of Rhode Island. And I'll show you this all right here, maybe if I can zoom in. They're on the card. So
Gosh.
they'll be at TakeOver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, understandable. But I'm mainly meaning like to represent like the company if you did get tag team belts. Like, who do you feel like would be like the guys that you would 100% cash in on to be favorites to winning? Like,
It's super tough to think about right now. We really have to work with them and see how they work with the crowd here as well, I think. Um, see who gets the biggest reactions from the crowd, whether that's positive or negative. That's one of the biggest, most important things. You know, are they engaging? Besides in-ring ability and whatnot. So I think we'd have to see some matches. That's why we're booking some tag matches. Try to grow that a little bit, get more familiarity with the teams in the area, get them showcased a bunch, and if those are working, we'll lean heavy that way.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That's what's up.
Definitely can't
All
have
right,
a dead crowd and with champions. Yeah.
all right. We're gonna wrap up this first round of questions here with Bray and then Chris, and then we're gonna move into the first segment.
Okay. You had mentioned some of the matches are already starting to get booked and kind of posted online. Can you kind of give us a little bit more insight on that and like what it went into like the booking process of choosing? All right, we're gonna put these two competitors together.
Um, yeah, competitive availability becomes part of it. Part of it is storyline. I'm not hands on with a lot of the booking myself. We've got a board of directors, which I'm involved in. There's a wrestler who sits on the board as well. He kind of leads a lot of the booking aspect. But in some matches, we're purposely for our first event looking at people who we've known worked together in the past the odd time as well. So knowing they can put on a good show together. As for Insight things coming, we've announced a Fatal 4-Way match already. This gets recorded and released later, correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So later today we'll be announcing the tag match as well, which I guess I already alluded to with Paywall. And then over the next couple of weeks we'll start announcing some more matches.
That's what's up.
Dope.
Yeah.
All right, LC.
Yeah. Getting back into pretty much that aura aspect of IPW and its resurgence is like, you know, it's like when the whole ECW died, Persona lifted and well on for the last couple years or so. Now it's been acknowledged. Not saying that IPW ever died, but it slowed down for a minute. And now over here in the States, most of the new guys are getting acquainted with hearing about it, seeing about it, like going back through the history. Give or take, out of the entire history of IPW, what's the one match that you can say if you're showing someone the product from past time, what did you actually show them from that period?
I'm Heatwave, was it? I'm trying to remember which event it was at. I was a fan. It was the Giant Orion versus Franco Varga was one of the main events, and they put on a fantastic match together. Also, the old IPW often had a lot of guest one-time stars. Some of those guys put on a big match as well, but weren't like integrated into story, or maybe not of a repeat. Like Carlito put on a match right before his WWE return, literally a couple weeks before showing up at Backlash. Eric Rowan had a match as well under his Eric Redbeard title. Also, just like a month before returning or re-signing back to WWE. Some of those guys put on some good matches, but I like the more independent ones as opposed to special guests. I'd say that one match was pretty good.
Something with actual story to it. Gives it time to build.
Okay.
Yeah.
So getting into our first segment of this week, we are going to spend a quick second talking about something that we found interesting in the wrestling world. Me personally, I want to talk a little bit more about this Shayna Baszler, Jade Cargill situation in the WWE world. Now, I love Jade Cargill and I love Shayna Baszler. But y'all are going to sit here and tell me that this is what y'all really caring about. Like, y'all haven't cared about women wrestling backstage in a long time, because exactly how I know y'all don't give Nia Jax no type of get back at all. Like, y'all butcher Nia Jax every other time y'all see her, whether she got a belt or she don't have a belt. I ain't seen Nia Jax really doing anything relevant on TV enough, but y'all still hate her. So y'all want me to believe that y'all are going to spend this much time talking about women's backstage politics? Y'all haven't cared about things a long time, else y'all will be annoyed by Charlotte Rain having 73 different world championship reigns. But y'all are telling me that Jade Cargill and Shayna Baszler having a match almost how many months ago? That one match at Clash at the Castle, y'all want us to go back and worry about that now? They don't even interact. Is Shayna Baszler even with the company anymore?
No, she's on Raw.
I ain't seen her on TV enough for me to even base that opinion, for me to even like notice that much. because after Sonya Deville got fired,
That's really, I would say they've had her and Zoe start kind of just like doing nothing.
like they feel like what the New Day has been doing the last few months, like just going out there, just doing shit just to do it now. It makes no sense on why y'all want me to go, oh yeah, Shayna Baszler and what's called got beef from this and that. Why does it matter if they're not even on the same brand? They're not on the same brand. They're not even doing the same live events probably. They probably will never interact for real. Unless they do a draft and Jay come over to Raw. Or they go over to SmackDown. Other than that, they not gonna never interact. So why do y'all put this in the media months later? It makes no sense.
They got to push Jade, right?
Like,
Jade just come back, so let's make some drama and see if we can get people talking.
what's the point of that?
Just to get clicks and views.
Like,
Yeah,
unless
I
y'all
don't
was
know.
gonna make that one of the motives on who attacked her, there was no point of y'all bringing up this thing because they're not gonna interact with each other. Unless she finna help Naomi out at Mania to be Jade or something stupid like that, there was no point of y'all bringing up backstage dirt between Shayna Baszler and Jade Cargill from Clash at the Castle, I believe. That chokehold that happened. Y'all wanting to talk about that now. For what? Y'all gonna try to use that against Jade and be like, up Jade's locker room presence is gonna be a problem for WWE. But months before that and months after that, nobody came out saying, oh, Jade's a diva. Jade is stiffing us and with this and all this other stuff. None of that came out until after she came back. And now she's gonna be back on TV. Y'all didn't mention this why she was out injured. Y'all didn't mention that weeks after the event. We just hearing about this now. Stupid. Bro, it's on you.
I don't know. I mean, wrestling was pretty interesting this week. We had a lot of stuff going on. We had the Revolution pay per view. Okay, I guess I'll talk about that. What a fucking terrible fucking ending to that great pay per view. Oh my god. They should have just ended with the fucking Mariah May and Tony Storm match. Everything else about the pay per view was so good. And then we're going to run back Copeland versus fucking Moxley again this week on Dynamite. Knowing damn well Moxley isn't going to drop that fucking title.
You might be surprised.
I hope I'm in for a fucking shock. I really do. I really want Swerve to get the title back because I want something to actually be done with the fucking title other than this stupid ass fucking Death Rider storyline that has been going on entirely too long.
I told you.
No, I never disagreed that it was going on too fucking long, but I expected something to fucking change, especially with with Copeland being able to take out some of the Death Riders and just still nothing. Then they wasted the fucking contract just because they literally said they didn't know what to fucking do with it and just wanted to be done with it at this point.
Here's the thing about this. Let's make one thing clear. There's no way in hell anybody sat there and remembered Christian had that damn contract. You know why? Because he won that shit so goddamn long ago and didn't do shit with it. Ain't no briefcase for real. It's just a contract. It's just a contract that you walk around with it in your hand. Ain't nobody really gonna care about that shit for real.
And then he really didn't even carry it around with him.
Nobody really noticed that. Nobody knew he was even in a world championship picture. He just came out and talked some shit. So after a while, you just forget that a motherfucker got something. Like you legit.
That's all they could do, pretty much.
No, they literally came out and said that. Like, it literally was just basically like, yeah, we just wanted to be done with it at this point.
Like, think about this. Carmella sat on the women's Money in the Bank championship. On the women Money in the Bank briefcase for so goddamn long that when she cashed in on Charlotte on SmackDown, you was like, when the fuck did she get that? That's still able to be used. That's how long she had that shit. And she cashed in the opportunity.
Man,
It makes no sense on why Christian bought his ass inside the goddamn ring and got choked out by John Moxley.
Backstage
And
politics.
y'all are sitting there like, what?
Backstage
He
politics
got
because somebody
cheated?
didn't want to get pinned.
No. Nobody for real thinks Christian is winning the AEW World Championship.
Hell no.
And if he did win it, he wasn't keeping that shit for no longer than 2-3 weeks tops.
He would have literally kept it for a month.
And he would have lost that bitch to Copeland. So would you rather get fan perception of y'all trying to do a WWE dream match outside of WWE, or y'all gonna do a let Adam get his chance one more time because Christian tried to screw him? No more distractions, no more anything. Now it's time to fight. Adam is gonna win this motherfucker, but he's either gonna drop it to Swerve, we gonna drop it to Adam, and then we gonna get Hangman versus Swerve again. That's how we get that shit one more time. That's what they pushing for.
Hangman to go on an expedition of just retiring people. Now, we already started with CD, and we seen how that went, but it's love between him and CD because that's his mentor. Everybody else, pretty much, he could just go through and, just cast everybody away for a while. Like, if Coke gonna start with the Death Riders, might as well just allow them, phase them out for a while and run with some new or some fresh. Even if it's not just working, just try it out.
They got to pivot. Yeah, I would say they just got to pivot and be done with it already.
But I told
Making it
y'all,
hard to watch.
this Death Rider shit was not gonna last. This Death Rider shit was not gonna be important. This Death Rider shit, respectfully, love John Moxley, love Antonio Castagnoli. Willa Yuta is one of them ones when he had a pure championship reign.
Yeah, which is now it's
But
like,
the way
I'm not
they
sure what they're
all
gonna do with that
pushed
part.
on TV, the way they pushed all on TV, and the way that they were just being booked, y'all work for us now. Like, this is our company. Then later, it was just, I'm going to beat the hell out of all of y'all for our respect. Then he got the world championship, and it was like, all right, we protecting this world championship. And now, nobody knows what the future of that group is. Like, they not going for no other titles. They not going for company control like they originally all aligned with each other to do. So now what happens when John Moxley loses that championship? Do they turn on him because he's not the leader no more because he lost the belt? Like, do they beat his ass and take him out of that and John Moxley now becomes a face again? Like, what is going to happen with that? Like,
who knows at this fucking point? I want them to be done with it.
I think they have the same questions in the room at back to do something. Where are we going with this next?
LC, it's all you. What you find interesting in wrestling?
You're gonna get a Shield reunion out of that. But as far as current day, the last few days I kind of been out. From my birthday to literally this morning, I was just like sitting in bed, and I was definitely going over pretty much, WCW, and from early days, first 10 shows to the last 10 shows, like doing research and everything like that, and you can kind of tell where basically like sort of the feel for it died out once NWA and everything parted ways, and they actually showcased it as this is something different. Like, I kind of love the way the NWA sets up its whole story with how they actually shoot, production, match types, the way it's all pretty much set up. That's how I got introduced with Nick Aldis, Ricky Starks. Even when Trevor Murdoch went over there for that short time, being got a chance to see that, and you can kind of tell where just about they gave up on everybody holding on to the belief that all right, it can still compete. Like it's still gonna hold up. Like if it was NXT against AEW, it would still be going as a current day situation. But now it's more of who's actually employed there, who was running everything behind the scenes, and who actually was helping create those moments. But it all falls back onto the camera crew. Once you don't really get a camera crew a moment to like test out those things and catch those moments, and you got them on the straight, this is how you do this. Now you're kind of set in a way where you don't get that ability to help see that from different perspectives. So they went down to, I think you said like 4 or 5 different camera views. You got Gorilla, Hard Cam. It's like 2 different floor cameras, and it was one aerial view. So everybody was on like a strict, all right, this is what we're doing because we're in competition with the other company rather than just doing what they already were doing, having fun with it. So now with current day AEW, it's being put under an authority figure. Like we've already seen that in WWE when Triple H, Stephanie, Seth Rollins, Kane, everybody ran that whole persona. It kind of made wrestling a little bit fun. We had the heist of the century and everything in it, but that's what it's about with helping create those moments. It may not be too many moments in the actual time frame, but at least it was 1 or 2 things. Something out of that is memorable. So getting back to the whole Blackpool Combat Club going into the Death Riders after Danielson and Regal started to, transition out, you could really see where the feel of that started to die out. So just like Jess said, where are they going with it really? But what's going to make it different, even if they do continue to try to run it as all right, John Moxley is now he's lost the championship. Who he's going to be wrestling against, and what's going to actually keep people invested in that rivalry, or even if it's just simple matches, like they can set it up as gauntlets, make it something different. It's really just the same matches over and over and over again. So it's like, yeah, sometimes repetition is okay, but that's why WWE has a dark match, if you kind of understand me. Like, that way you can actually get a chance to work on those things, but it's not always the same thing that's shown on TV every week. And it never be the same thing twice unless they want you to see a replay from that. Like, yeah, they may run a spot in the same manner, but somehow it's going to be a chance to change that up. So you kind of get like a chance to see everything as a whole now, as in there you really didn't get an understanding of like the business from anyone. So I like to just kind of see like the different change and everything. We talked about it a few weeks ago when WCPW was alive. What Culture Pro Wrestling got a chance to get an introduction to guys like Ozzy Open, Will Ospreay, and Mark Davis, Big Damo. A lot of different guys that actually are, come back over from that side of wrestling back and forth pretty much now. So I just like to say, it's a good time to actually be a wrestling fan. It's a great time to see everybody get a chance to actually work together, whether it's, WWE and TNA, which nobody ever thought because of after WCW, that was supposed to be the rivaling NWA company, and then that branch off, it was supposed to die. But as we see now, it's easier to work together than separately competing against each other for no reason.
I want to tell you that WWE and AEW need to hire us because we done got so much stuff accurate to a T to how things plan out or should plan out. Because if I plan how WrestleMania night 1 is going down to a T, WWE needs to stop playing and just put us backstage and just let us write some storylines. because we already got a good amount of the stuff down already. Like, we understood that there's no way in God's green earth a old John Cena who's a face was gonna be the American Nightmare, who's also a face, who's also the new face of the company, clean. John Cena was gonna have to get dirty, or Cody was gonna have to get dirty. And guess what? WWE decided Cody Rhodes is too much of a face for him to go bad right now. Selling all these t-shirts, he is what John Cena was in 2006 all the way up to 2000 and what, 15, 16, before he left for the movie business for real, for real. He was what
Before the
Cody
scene
Rhodes
sucks.
was for years. Cody Rhodes is doing this now and is probably going to do this for at least another 7 more years. This is John Cena's last year. You think he was going to beat the new face of the company and it makes sense? No. Being a good guy? No. John Cena had to get his hands dirty. And we said that some bullshit was going to happen. It happened. So, with AEW doing what they doing and WWE doing what they doing, the realm of opportunity is possible for everything that you just said, honestly. Every single thing. But we're going to get into one of our segments where we call it 20-minute heat wave. So basically, we got 20 minutes worth of questions for you. We're going to have you honestly answer them as truly as possible. Some of these questions are going to be wrestling related. Some of these questions are just going to be simple questions to tell if I can like you as a person. So, whenever you're ready, sir, we will begin.
All right, let's go for it.
All right. You know, I don't know if we can have you answer the first question I usually ask. I ain't gonna lie to you. Just because IPW. What's the best wrestling finisher on the independent scene?
That's a tough one. Yeah. Um, I do like Wesley Pipes does that. It's like Iron Cross, almost like a razor's edge into a buckle bomb right into the turnbuckle. That's a little bit different, right? I like that it's not just front of the mill. I see everywhere else.
Okay.
Bruh.
Favorite wrestler?
Wrestler?
Yeah.
Overall?
Yeah, I was a independent or signed to a major company. Just your favorite
All
wrestler?
time or active?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. All right.
Could be
I'll go
current.
with my
How
favorite of all
about you give
time
us
is
both?
Shawn Michaels.
Heartbreak
So how
You
about
Kid.
said
what?
Shawn? You said Shawn Michaels?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
Blood
choice,
Holes of
honestly.
guys too.
Shawn Michaels was good in the 80s, he was good in the 90s, and he was the man in the 2000s.
That was
All the
actually
way up until 2010. You can't even be. That's a great choice, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody say that Shawn Michaels didn't have a good comeback year when he got older in WWE, tripping. I don't care if he held a world championship or not. He got a chance to come back and do even more good shit. He became Mr. WrestleMania, even though he didn't win that many damn WrestleMania matches.
Yeah.
He became the face of wrestling in total. So
Yeah, he was like the total package. He was there, like, sorry to pull that one out of Lex, but there was guys stronger than him, guys flashier than him, guys that could move better, guys that could talk better, but like well-rounded, all those things. He could be a heel, a face, and he always made whoever he was competing against look really, really good.
okay. LC.
All right. So out of eras of Shawn Michaels, which is your most favorite era of Shawn
So that's tough between DX and just before DX. I think just before DX is probably my favorite, but I think that's around because of my age, and I was probably 17 or so at the time watching them. Just kind of, yeah,
Before him and Diesel.
before DX, I'm a fan of him. Even as an Intercontinental Champion, like when he had Sherry with him, like yeah, big fan of earlier HBK, I guess it is.
If there was a stipulation match that you would like to see in IPW that hasn't been done yet, what's one that you would choose?
Unless my historical information's wrong, I like to see a steel cage someday.
That'd be sick.
Is it anybody that you'd like to see in that cage match?
I think for a cage match, it means the most when there's like a good, honest animosity between the competitors. So it's gonna kind of depend on where things get to. But like Fantana would be pretty awesome in there. See if he'll take even bigger risks than he can from just the ropes.
It's actual hate between him and Logan Green. That'll be a good match.
True.
That would be a really good match.
That is gonna be, boy. Logan Green gonna cheat his ass off. He gonna cheat his ass off.
And guess what? It's gonna be legal. It's still cage.
He knows his way around it, but even
know
him
his
to
way
get in
around.
trouble, anyways. He know how to get away with it when there's no way in hell Logan Green and
Slowly
Santana
but
get that
surely,
match.
like not knowing him before earlier last year, like seeing any of his work, quickly has become one of my favorite heels. And it's like he's not like being promoted on any other major brands whatsoever, but it's like when you actually look through like certain companies' history and like find out about these guys, it's like, oh, he's literally got everything they're looking for on this main brand network, but at least he's actually getting a chance to do something elsewhere. Like not just sitting at home and having to be like recasted and somebody else uses his persona and go about it terribly wrong.
Nah, I feel you. I feel you. Best pizza place in Canada.
Famous Peppers Pizza in Charlottetown. Yeah. Locally owned place. It's awesome. It's a family. They own a hot sauce company. They own a barbecue place. They own a brewery, and they make fantastic pizza. Anyway, it's good times.
Best pizza topping.
Y'all gonna hate me for this one. Pineapple.
Oh, I just said it in my head. I was like pineapple.
But it can't be just pineapple. It's got to have a lot of meat and something really salty with it too. Some pepperoni or something on there with it.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, if a pizza has pineapple on it, I'll eat it. But it's not gonna be like something I like choose. But I'll eat it. Not bad.
I like it because it's like the only sweet thing that goes on a pizza. It stands up from the rest. I don't know. It's Canadian too.
I got my mixed feelings on it. I'm gonna try not to judge you. I'm gonna try not to judge you enough. I'm still gonna give you some time. LC.
Joe Rogan boasts about a sweet and salty pizza. I think it's pineapple and anchovy. I haven't tried that, but that's his thing.
I don't know how I can feel about that.
Got to get out of the Kimbe finger. No.
All right. So I definitely remember you saying, you wanted to see a steel cage. What's your most favorite steel cage match?
Well, if it counts, Undertaker, Mankind, Hell in a Cell. But if that doesn't count, that counts.
Yeah, all cages.
I remember watching that.
I'll even take Punjabi Presence as a cage
match. Okay, I guess that counts as a steel cage. Sort of steel. Yeah, that Hell in a Cell though. So back then, the university in town here used to open up their bar to an all ages event where they'd host the pay per view on the big screen. And I remember watching it live as a teenager, being like, "Oh my gosh, Mick Foley just died!" Like, yeah, watching it happen live and not knowing the outcome ahead of time was just one of the craziest moments in wrestling.
Especially
Bray.
now that Undertaker actually does interviews, it's like he has all
Yeah.
of the secrets, so he already knows. Like, oh well, this was the call, but out of who else is better to take care of you in the ring than Undertaker and Mankind?
Yeah.
What's your favorite match of all time?
Favorite match of all time? That's really tough as well. A lot of them, I don't think they're the most technical matches of all time, but maybe they meant something to me or they introduced something to me. Um, WrestleMania 10 ladder match, Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, was kind of the first hardcore anything I kind of experienced. That WrestleMania 10, the Macho Man and Crush No Falls Count Anywhere in the Building, and the ladder match. The two of those on that same event. Before that, like everything was like follow the rules in at the time WWF. So I think that one has the biggest memories for me. Um, Best technical match. I'm going to go old stuff because I'm a lot older than you guys. Uh, Savage and Steamboat at WrestleMania 3, I think that was.
I know which match you're talking about. I forgot which Mania it's at though. I mean, both excellent choices. Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna add on to what Bray John says. What is your favorite independent match of all time, or the best that you've seen so far?
So I'm wildly open here. My independent experience is limited to a couple of events. Uh, I'm still ramping up on the market in the area. So I think I have to go back to the match I mentioned earlier that I liked from IPW actually with Franco and the Giant.
Okay.
But ask me in 2 years. Hopefully, I'll tell you an honest opinion, not one that's biased to IPW, and I'll have a lot more experience in the area.
Okay. How about this? If there was a singular WWE star right now, whether like it's active on the Raw roster, SmackDown, NXT, if there was a certain guy, even though you guys have had Carlito on there before, um, who's the guy currently on either roster that you feel you could throw into a match with any guy on the roster?
Who's the guy who can throw in any guy on the roster? As in, it's going to work. Let me just try to answer that straight up. I just want to go biased because I'm on the fan train right now with Penta. Love to see that guy get dropped in with anyone.
Honestly,
I mean, yeah, it's a great choice. Vince is a.
Penta and Fantana would low key actually be a crazy matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
I
just
said I
because
said Ray
Penta,
Phoenix and
I
Fantana.
would say, what about Ray Phoenix versus
Yeah,
Oh,
Santana?
yeah.
That would go
So Penta,
crazy.
Penta works the crowd
that's
like
gonna
he's
be a
still
low
at a
buy for
small
me.
independent, so he really engages with them too. Like even when he's on televised events, it's really good. Um, you guys saw the teasers for Ray as well.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, love that they're putting him on the other brand. I didn't want to see them just snowball the Lucha Brothers and get lost in
See,
the
Oh,
tag
that
game.
was my
definitely.
big fear. That was my big fear. I'm like, just because Penta's doing so great in this like independent run, like I want to see them get back together, but like we can't just stop
Wait,
what Penta's got going right now.
Exactly. That's
yeah,
why I said either let them meet at Money in the Bank or let them meet at the Rumble. Do not let them be. Do not let them meet no time soon. So
Yeah,
therefore, now you got to rush the
even if they do
Usos back
meet,
together.
even if they do meet now, still let them do separate things. Intercontinental over here, U.S. title over here. Like, and then we still have NXT. So even if it's nothing that they eventually, go back over and do, they kind of present it as its own main brand now, which respectfully it is. You can still do much there as a tag team. It doesn't have to just be
See,
like, okay, main roster tag titles. Don't see you for 2 weeks, then come back and defend them and lose the belt.
See, I feel you 100% on that, but I mainly mean WWE like to force a tag team storyline every week.
Oh yeah,
And if you get the
quickly.
Lucha Brothers back in WWE for the first time ever, if you get the Usos back together, and then you got this TNA NXT merger. You don't think I could see low key the Hardy Boys slipping their ass up to the main roster for a storyline to where you had three teams, yeah, three teams of brothers that get going against each other in a ladder match or some stipulation ass match. You
TLC.
know how they gonna kill this goddamn shit that Penta and them got going on because you can push them solo as stars and then let them team up after they done won belts alone. Do
Right.
not force them to immediately get together. And if anybody wanted that shit to happen, why? Cause y'all was going to literally, if it doesn't work out, y'all are going to basically try to demolish WWE for dropping the ball on them.
Yeah, they
Y'all gonna
gonna.
say they was just as good in AEW as they are right now. Y'all are gonna have that same debate if they are a tag team and fail. But if they are solo acts and then come together as a team, then what you gonna cry about? They gave you what you wanted. Milk cereal, cereal milk.
Cereal milk.
Man,
Okay,
that was,
see, you saved yourself.
LC.
See, you saved yourself on that. Cause
Favorite breakfast food?
Favorite breakfast food?
Yeah.
Uh, eggs.
well,
Probably some salsa.
How do you prefer them? Scrambled, sunny side up?
Lately, I've been cooking them in salsa, like poor man's Veros Rancheros. Throw some salsa in the pan, spread it apart, crack a couple eggs in there. They kind of end up over easy. And the salsa gets a little
Okay.
thicker. Yeah,
okay,
I'm practically a chef.
okay. What was the most? What is the most interesting storyline that you've came across in the last few years? Whether that's in the WWE, if it's in the AEW storylines with Swerve and Hangman, WWE give a reference like Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Like, what storyline have you came across that just wasn't really shown on just like TV or whatever for real, but you thought personally would have been interesting if they kept going with it?
Storyline that they didn't roll with, but I think I'd like a little
Yeah.
more. I don't know what's fair to say or not, but the Wyatt Six, where did that go? I was right on board for that. And it
I
kind of
believe he got
disappeared.
injured.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but they just dropped it completely. I don't know. Even with the
Right, because
timing
usually
where
they have
Alexa's back,
NXT.
they could kind of get things rolling a little bit. They can have the other guys doing run-ins or something, but they just kind of like dropped it when he got hurt.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I'm gonna be real on that. I love Alexa Bliss. I love the Wyatt Six. I don't really think Alexa Bliss needs to be a part of that, honestly. It's just because Alexa Bliss already has her interaction with the Fiend already. She didn't have her interactions with Bray. Of course, she didn't met Uncle Howdy in a different lifetime or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But to say, oh, Alexa Bliss needs to jump in and save the Wyatt Six, what can she do to save it? I'm sorry, y'all are still missing the main presence of this group. Y'all are missing Bray. The
Yeah,
fans are not going to connect with this as much. I'm not saying y'all, it's just going to fall to the moon anyways, but it's like there's only so much that can be done. You are not going to push Uncle Howdy to a world championship. You're not saying that Uncle Howdy is beating Cody Rhodes for the belt. You might not even say Uncle Howdy is beating LA Knight for the United States Championship. So what is the point of y'all saying, "Oh, this is a flop. This is gonna fail"? They let Bray down after Bray Wyatt passed away. There was no way in hell y'all thought WWE could push this off. Yes,
It
you
definitely
have.
wasn't going to get as big.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. It just, I don't know. Maybe WWE sees the opportunity and like tries to build it for something at least relevant enough for SmackDown going forward for the next 365 days when they finally debut. But other than that,
Just like they had some
I
good
don't know what they
momentum
want.
going, and it just vanished. That's all. Like again, he was hurt, but
Fair enough. Fair enough. Question. I don't know if we really asked ever this much on the podcast, or if we've ever asked this at all. But what is your favorite? Yeah, what's your favorite arena like pay-per-view like setup?
I like when they have the stage, which they're doing a little less now. I get they're packing seats into things like WWE events, but I like when there is like a big stage and a raised ramp that kind of comes down for a setup in an arena. Where like
Right.
during these international shows, they're putting up a little tiny entranceway, and they got to come down and take some turns going down the hall because they're in large events. I get it, but
I mean like arena like setups, like Backlash 2010, like maybe like Money in the Bank 2009, like the pay-per-view like setups, like how the guy like what it looks like walking down from the ramp, like what, like which one all time would you say at least in, well, you can do modern times, you can do a WrestleMania from present, you can maybe a AEW. What's one of those all time where you look back and go like, oh yeah, that arena like setup was fire?
I liked WrestleMania 39. That was pretty awesome in Hollywood.
Actually, has some type of.
It's very underrated. It's just I didn't like how certain people came, like how certain like they didn't really do much with it. It just like people came out this little ass box out of the
Yes,
Titantron. They would just walk out. I didn't like that part. But if they made it legit look like, if it made it look like they were coming out like maybe from like a ramp from the bottom coming up, like how WrestleMania 28 was. You know how John Cena and them came, like how John Cena had to run up the, walk up the rampway. I like that type of feeling on it. But WrestleMania 39 wasn't bad. It was okay. Me personally, I would say SummerSlam 2008. The way they had it, like movie, like it just was like WrestleMania goes Hollywood. It was legit
yeah.
set up like a movie, like red carpet matchup, like red carpet matches that y'all have never seen in wrestling for real, to a whole new level. That's at least how me and Chris looked at it because me and Chris was there when John Cena broke his what was it, his collarbone or something like that from a power bomb from Batista. You don't remember that,
I
Chris?
believe it was either his collarbone or his pec. Somehow it was like he was definitely already injured before the match. I went back and watched the interview, but it was like everything was already like numb before the match started. So it was like he didn't feel pretty much.
See, like that being one of them matches, like that setup, arena wise and everything. I even think that was that was when Chris Jericho punched Shawn Michaels' wife in the face. How I oddly remember that. And like he just basically like Chris Jericho cleanly, at least it looked like he knocked Shawn Michaels' wife out. Like he just boom.
Man, listen,
She sold one hell of a punch if it was a work because I really thought he hit her. I was like, damn. I was like, WWE going back to ruthless aggression. And I didn't even know what the hell ruthless aggression fully was at the time. Hell, even then, like Bubba Ray Dudley still being able to hit Mae Young back then with the what Which one was it? The Dudley driver, or was it the
The bumper
or
bomb
was it the
on
power
top.
bomb off the stage?
It was a
Powerbomb
power
off
bomb.
the
That one right there, I was like, y'all really let Mae Young take that move. I was like, y'all are crazy as
Well,
hell, and
they
she
didn't let him take
crazier.
it. Mae Young demanded she took that move. Mae
Mae
Young
Young,
didn't even tell Mae Young no.
I don't know how many lives he gave Mae Young, but he gave her 2 goddamn minutes for her to be able to walk away perfectly fine after a power bomb off the top of the stage.
She's originally built different. One of the founders when it comes to that side of wrestling. She can about still take a full 60-minute iron and still be cool and get comfy afterwards.
All right. But now, since we didn't talked around for a little bit, we gonna finally hit the burning question, I call it. When you all said and done, and you've done everything you can for the company IPW, hopefully ran a lot of great episodes, have a great interactions with the crowds, being a commentator with the company, just being the voice. When all of that is over with, what do you hope to leave in the wrestling community of IPW? Like, what do you hope to do outside of wrestling when you're done to keep that legacy going for the voice?
Yeah, I think big thing is to have big enough reach that we inspire other people to like follow behind us and join the ride as well. I think that's the biggest thing when it's all said and done. You can't really do any more at that point when it's all said and done, but hope there's like a legacy. There's a memory. You've made a big enough impact that you've influenced at least one person, right? You guys have done that already. Look at me. If it wasn't for your podcast, I wouldn't be here, and now here I am chatting with you. And yeah, taking
Yeah, as
to the
humbly as
ring.
we can say that, that's a big ups. We didn't know where we were going originally when we started this, so that's a thank you for sure.
that that is fire though. We get a chance to talk with somebody that we inspired to uh, get a chance with the company. It's I can tell you one thing. I can tell by how you talk with us, how comfortable you feel being asked questions just rapidly through all of this, being able to handle the madness of our little podcast and everything, but being comfortable enough to actually come on and share it and basically let us take an hour of your time up to just talk about wrestling. I think that IPW is going to have a hell of a promotion going across Canada and maybe even get an opportunity to swing to some little points of the US, maybe. I just feel like the way that Justin and Chris are planning everything and how they have everything set up, IPW is going to be a problem for the next 10 plus years, if that.
I mean, forever.
Like there's so much that can come across for this, especially seeing that wrestling is picking up so well in like the United States and other countries, that IPW can stamp their name up there pretty well. Like they've already had such a good history, but to sell and then start over and build that history up again with new owners, the opportunities are endless for IPW, and we just want to thank you for stopping in and sharing some of your insights on it. And by all means, if you want to give a little bit of shout outs, promotions, where to go to find you,
Sure.
please.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Thanks for having me. It's great. Trying to get a little bit more exposure here, talking online with everybody, getting things moving along. So, as far as promotions, yeah, um, we post a lot in our Facebook. We've got a YouTube channel as well, but both of them are just under islandprowrestling.com. But the big thing right now is we have Takeover coming. It's going to be live on Twitch April 5th. It's also live here in Charlottetown at the Prince Edward Island Brewing Company. All new venue. Yeah, it's going to be a great time.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Adam the Deuce Dockett. Ladies and gentlemen, be sure to look at all of the links down below for IPW Wrestling here in the future. Until then, I'm Jay the Kid. That's Broke Boy Gray. We got our boy LC for 773. And one thing that we just always do before we leave, y'all know what it is. We want to thank you for wrestling.